Fortunately, police is not still here. So I can keep on hosting my TV news without censorship. Don't worry, your usual TV hostess. I haven't hurted her. I've just closed her in the other room with food, water, drinks, because I'm not a terrorist and I hate violence. You don't get scandalized when on TV news they talk about possible future worldwide wars. You talk about it like a race in which the winner is who will eat more sandwiches. You dare to discriminate what is not dangerous. But your tyrants have instilled in your minds, drunk with hate, that diversity is danger. And what doesn't conform to your descerebrated and conformed mass must be considered diverse, deviant, and dangerous. You discriminate and shove indignation towards LGBT, people of different religion, race, color of the skin, culture, customs, languages, different ways of dressing. Freedom, no slavery. Learn to say no. Learn to disobey in a pacific way. Remember, we are all brothers and sisters. Diversity is not dangerous. Worse than a dictatorship is a dictatorship with semblance of democracy. No is the first word, the first step to get out of servitude, slavery. You can't accept to be censored because our constitution here in Noiselessland gives us the right of free thought, free choice of religion, freedom to express yourself in a pacific and free way. Fear controls people, so don't have fear. Express your opinion without inciting hate, violence, discriminations, because in democracy Don't care about the other's judgment, because here in Noiselessland you have the right to be yourself and express your opinions, of course, without incite, hate, violence, discriminations. You can't be censored because you have opposing ideals and ideas. Don't be afraid, otherwise you already know to be in a dictatorship. Be rebel without being violent. Learn to say no. If you are punished because you have expressed your opinions in a pacific way in democracy, so you are in a dictatorship instead. If you are sure to be in a democracy, be rebel without being violent. Claim your rights, enshrined by your constitution. Otherwise, if your constitution gives you the right and you choose silence, you are a sheep. To stay silent because scared. So, democracy can turn into dictatorship, autocracy, oligarchy. Stay humble, but never the servant or the slave of somebody. Freedom, brotherhood, equality. Stop discriminating people who are strangers for the color of the skin. Stop racism. Stop racism. Black lives matter. Stop discriminating people of different race, religion, sexual orientation. Remember Gandhi with his pacific disobedience got the independence of India without violence. Nobody can't control or influence your minds. The problem are not influencers. The problem is that there are many people who don't control their minds. You don't have to be treated like a slave in a democracy. Remember Martin Luther King, I have a dream, murdered because he claimed the equality of blacks and whites. Remember the great man who stated, "For all my ideals, I'm ready to die, but not to kill." Kurt Cobain, the great Kurt Cobain, They tell you he killed himself. It's not the truth. He has been killed. He said, I prefer to be hated for who I am than to be left for who I'm not. JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. What can I do for my country? Not what the country can do for me. Who doesn't scream before injustices is a complice of the injustices and of its future slavery. Here in Noiselessland, 2035 are in democracy. So why you made them treat you like servants or slaves? You are scandalized at people you judge diverse, freaks, but you aren't scandalized at the fact that there are still wars, exterminations, abominations in every part of the world, as in Africa. Why don't you indignate? Why don't you get scandalized before the denial and violation of human rights, before evident injustices, before all the women raped, and before all the victims of rape and murder, before children raped, despised, and killed? Murders without control. Justice not the same for anybody. People who die because they haven't food or water. Homeless people. No help for the disabled. You aren't scandalized by a government here in Noiselessland 2035, which rapes your rights and the Constitution and charges you with duties that you don't have, and you enjoy the applause to have sold yourself without being paid, instead to be covered by dishonor and shame. Lift your head up and say, first of all, I am a human being. Then a citizen, but nobody must be a servant or a slave. You are all human beings. You have your rights. I'm checking out. Police is arriving. I must end up my TV news, but the rest shit. Remember that until there will be mental hospitals in countries that state to be democracies, mental hospitals will be instruments of terror in which to throw not only people seriously mentally ill, but all the people, all the political opponents, and all the people considered inconvenient. People who state to have open mind in 2035 here in Noiselessland, and then they make political meetings that seem to come from the Middle Ages, and people believe this rubbish because they never get out of the blanket of the Dark Ages. Remember we chant, then which burned to the stake, and the persecution of all the people considered diverse, deviants. Don't have fear. Learn to disobey in a pacific way and say no and stop injustices. It's a real act of freedom. Otherwise, you let this rotten world to promote the law of the strongest. We are in 2035, where there is no pity or empathy for the other ones. The lack of health care. Only rich people can afford to cure themselves and keep on living, careless with old people, disabled, weak people, fragile people, ill people of every age. We are too many people in 2035. So, why don't do some cleaning and hygiene? This is a Nazi plan. And remember, the words cleaning and hygiene were the words used by Hitler to succeed in one of the hugest and creepiest horror happened from the beginning of the world. So many governments in the many galaxies now in 2035 want to eliminate people considered the outcasts of the society and make the strongest ones to live, especially the young ones, and indoctrinate them to be pitiless, without compassion and respect for the others. I say stop! Not in my name! All these injustices and discriminations. we can be rebel without violence. We can get what we want with a word. No! And peaceful disobedience. Even vengeance can be without violence. Be pacifists, pacific rebels, and take this world destroyed by evilish people back. I must check out because I have to escape if I see police. Police is arriving and wants to arrest me because tonight I made another kind of information at the TV news you always watch. And in the end, another twist you don't expect. Until now, you thought that you had in front of you a male person, a TV host. Instead, I am a woman, and I did all of this by myself. I am a woman, and I did all this by myself. Another prejudice to destroy. And now, before police arrives, I greet you and I salute you to tell you this. I am V. V for vengeance. My V is for vengeance without violence. And now I will set free the usual TV hostess of the TV news, another servant of the power.